Yes, you're listening here live on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show with your host Brent, kicking it here on this Wednesday night. Yes, you're listening here live on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show with your host Brent. Listen to a little, let's see, a mixed soundtrack by yours truly, moi, Brent. It's my little Koolikool's trap music. Oh, getting it. Oh, on this Wednesday. On this Wednesday. On this Wednesday, we breaking it down to the ground. Oh yeah. We're gonna have a good show tonight here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show. Yes, breaking it down, nice and sound. Woo! Yes, listen here live on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show with your host Brent. Yes, we're going. Listen to little Koolikool's modern trap music. Yes, by yours truly. So, you're here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show. Your host, Brent, kicking here from coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. Yes, so if you're just joining us, I'm your host, Brent. We're kicking it here live on this Wednesday night. Yeah, we had a little technical difficulties earlier just to start off for a bit, but we got back on track, and yes, we're ready to do this. Oh, yes. So, if you haven't been told already, you are special. So, it's been a minute. Like I said, in the past 2 months, I've been extremely busy. Been trying to do my podcast as often as I can, but in the past, like I said, 2 months, I've been extremely busy. Just recently get over with the Thanksgiving holiday, where a lot of people had a big old feast of eating huge turkeys or ham or chickens or what is it ever that you dined on Thanksgiving. You got to eat, spend times with the families, it's supposed to be, celebrate, Thanksgiving, the time of giving, the time of praising thanks, it's supposed to be good times. From my family to your family, I hope each and every one of you had a great and special time with your loved ones and close ones that you want to be around during that special time of the year. As 2021 is starting to come in, now we are in December. It is December 1st. 2021. Man, this year has, I guess it's flying by, but We're already here in December. Jolly old Saint Nick will be making his way from the North Pole, traveling across the world, going around, breaking into people's houses to deliver presents, as he, so to speak, does. Yep, he's not trying to, I'm going to deliver presents and I'm going to be nice about it. And here, what Santa Claus or St. Jolly Nick is doing is breaking in and he's taking things while you're not looking. And he's leaving little presents that he thinks you and the little ones might like, so that will cover up his real, true motive of doing things. So, yes. So we expect. I haven't seen yet live Christmas trees. I believe they're still trying to stockpile them, get them ready to go, so that way the prices for live Christmas trees, real trees, are going to probably be starting at its utmost high of probably $50 to $100, since people like to get over on people in this economy and society. And then as we start to get closer and closer towards Christmas, then you'll start to see that the prices of the Christmas trees will eventually go down to as little as $5. And after Christmas, they'll still be trying to put it on the sale for Christmas trees, and they'll probably be listed probably at $2 or $1. But who's buying a Christmas tree at that point? They're like, you know what? The festivities and festival of all the joyous time has already gone by. So, that is where we're going to be headed. And then the new year of 2022 is knocking at the door for the world to see. It's been a very, very different year as it was for 2020. But you must be thankful for everything that you do have. Like I said, there's a lot of things going on in the world, and a lot of things are happening. But this is first thing is be thankful. Be all thankful. So here on our show, we got a couple things we're going to talk about. A lot of things I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're just going to go ahead and wing it. Yep, we're going to wing it because, frankly, we got a lot of stuff going on in the world. As I said, 2021 is almost coming to a near end. 2022 is, like I said, knocking at the door. And there's just been a lot of things that's been going on. And I mean, so let's get this, I guess, party started here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool show with your host, Brent. Oh yeah, and be sure to, if I haven't told you already, which I don't think I told you, be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. You can follow me on my Twitter account, which is at Koolykool2412. You can also follow me on my TikTok channel, which is the Koolykool show. You can also follow my YouTube channel, where my videos from here, my podcasts, are automatically uploaded to my YouTube channels. Hopefully I won't be copyrighted with any of my content, because it's really copyrighted because of my music. And you can follow me there if I'm not copyrighted, which I don't think I'm going to be copyrighted, because it's my own music. I created my own music, yes. Like I said in the beginning, that was my Koolykool's modern trap music. So, follow me on my YouTube channel, The Koolykool Show. You can also follow me on my Instagram page at Brent the Champ. Yep. So, one thing, I guess we're going to I want to get this out the way. I want to get this talking. And it's like I've been saying from the beginning of the summer. They keep talking about asteroids. They keep bringing about asteroids. They keep talking and bringing everything about asteroids up. I don't even know why. And, they keep saying, oh, it's asteroids, if you have been following as far as the science news and space news, apparently, there has been, NASA says it's a huge potential asteroid. Well, actually, if you haven't been following it, let me backtrack a little bit. There's an asteroid that's supposed to be actually nearing Earth, supposed to be coming past Earth, or close proximity of Earth. It's supposed to be passing us. Now, NASA and all them scientists and people says a huge potential hazardous asteroid will break into Earth's orbit next. They didn't say next specified, but they said the asteroid 4660 Koolykool is classified as a potentially hazardous piece of rock because of its proximity to Earth. And supposedly it's supposed to be coming here in December 11th. NASA experts expect it to be as close as point to Earth over 20 years. This asteroid was discovered back in 1982. That's what I read. I know a couple of you guys are probably just delighted to listen to that months of nonsense. But like I said, it's been talking about this for a long. They keep talking about how these asteroids, deflecting certain asteroids, building things to deflect, needing your money, your funding to get this on the jump start. And they've been doing this for quite some time. I really don't understand. But, people kept thinking I'm just talking out my ass about this, and I'm not talking out my ass. I'm actually being true and honest about the craziness that they keep talking about. And apparently what I also read, well, I don't want to jump too far in that. I'm going to kind of back off from talking about SpaceX. So, but what I said before is just like, if you hadn't followed my show, I had talked about back in several months ago how they had somehow found out that there was an asteroid that was going to be in a collision course with Earth in the year 2160 to 2170 and they needed to send up rockets, 50 to 60 of them, in the month of November, this past November, in order to deflect that asteroid off its course from hitting Earth. But they were going to need some funding in order to do so. I haven't heard much of it, but they kept talking about it. Then there was other parts of like a CNBC. I did an article saying about, the asteroid was supposed to hit in the year, same time frame. I talked about it before. And they were trying to devise a plan to divert the asteroid from coming. Now, but they were talking so much about, we need some funding. Now, over the entire summer, there was a talk of the potential as far as, UAVs and, aliens, discoveries, the Pentagon's release. And then sometime we'll subside when they start talking political stuff and what's going on in the White House and what's going on with COVID-19. And then all of a sudden they keep bringing it back up. And that's when over summer you had the billionaires in late in summer were traveling to the last layer of the last layer of the atmosphere, trying to travel in outer space. You had billionaires riding high and ride out there in space, the stratosphere, so to speak, and, riding with some honeys out in their, spaceships. I guess you're a billionaire, do it right. That's what I'm talking about. Bring yourself some honeys with you out in the last layer to going in outer space. Billionaire, do whatever you want. But they had all this stuff. Going on with this if you followed it, but everything kept running about money because they said, you could win a trip, or not win a trip. You could actually travel to go, and it was going to be a $250,000 for just one seat. Does not include food and beverages and no in-flight movie. No. But, and also no parachute in the event something happens. But yes, $250,000 that you could travel to the last layer just before going to outer space. Then they also really had SpaceX, where I wanted to hold up, but now we're going to go full brunt on it, where SpaceX had its first commercial flight that went out and was successful in the fall area. And recently, I think there was something that came up recently, that happened just not too long ago, where they've kind of halted, or the founder and CEO, the man running things in charge, Elon Musk, had said something. It was an article. Apparently, their new engine is involved in something right now, where the money for it is actually their new rocket engine is going to be making them go completely bankrupt because of the high demand, the maintenance, and also the amount of the cost for this engine to actually be implemented. And they literally say he's like, they're on the verge of going bankrupt. I didn't read too much far into it, but that's what the lines of laws he was talking about. That this engine of SpaceX's Falcon 9 is costing so much, and then they might have to kind of halt it a little bit. And I don't know whether it is just me or whether I'm thinking maybe outside the box, but it seems like it's always a repeat factor when it comes to certain space stuff that they constantly keep pushing things on the back burner. Not to say the stuff won't get done or not to say the stuff that won't end up happening, but a lot of the space talk, a lot of we're going to go here, we're going to go do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then something happens and they keep pushing the stuff on the back burner because they always have to go around, oh, we need more money, we need this, or cost effective. And then they hope that eventually somebody will pick up this, will eventually pick up, where they left off and then to continue their research or whatever their, experiment to be. I mean, if we went to the moon, which I think we went to the moon, if you heard my other podcast, I talked kind of a little bit about this, but if we were to do this, we would never have gone to the moon. But it seems as though we had all the tons of the money and all the tons of the time and all the tons of the material and effort, ingenuity, skill, and desire to go to the moon and in a certain amount of time period. And we made it happen. It seems that now it's like, yeah, we can do it, but we need some money. Yeah. It's getting kind of, tight. We need a couple of money, this little hero thing. It seems as though it's always kind of some type of monkey wrench or stalling thing or something that's happening where the budgeting ends up not being what it's supposed to be. And then you get it pushing it back. But like for the biggest thing they keep talking about, well, we're going to go to Mars. We're going to go to Mars. We need to go to Mars. We're happening to go to the Mars. Mars is the big thing that they're constantly been pushing on us at the beginning of 2021. And then last year during the whole COVID talk, they didn't even talk about anything about Mars. Mars is kind of put on the back burner. I guess Mars was taught about, we're not going to really talk about Mars that much. We're not going to give anything about Mars or whatever. So that they kind of like left that away, and now, I mean, I don't even know if they're even still talking about Mars, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we'll talk about it when we get some more funding for going to Mars or trying to get to Mars, or if it's relevant talk about Mars or anything space related. It just seems like it's a constant stalling, thing going on in, I don't want to say, well, it is a stalling method for the government. I mean, I understand that there's research, planning, funding, but let me put it this way. It goes like this. This is my thought process when we're thinking about all this stuff, when you're like talking about space and the funding for certain things and yada, 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 X, Y, and Z. So let's put it like this. We have tons of things that go on throughout the world, and a lot of this stuff does take amounts of time. So let's figure this way. So like I said, this is a little example. So let's put it this way. We want to go to, let's say, we want to do a new research project, and we want to go to Mars. So we're doing a development research program to go to Mars. And so we pitch an idea. Somebody says, hey, okay, that sounds sense. Let's pitch it to 5 more people that are going to support us to wanting to pitch this idea to the government or to the main space and science, forum, to where it's going to get such appeal. So they pitched the idea. These 5 people pitched the idea. Now, you have space forum and the scientists forum, this community, they all like, oh, that's a great idea. So now this idea has been pitched and people are like, okay, we can actually think that this could be great and it'd be useful to us in the future. So now this idea is now pitched to the federal government, which can actually maybe get things rocking and rolling, jumpstart it. Now with this getting rocking and rolling and jumpstart it, now it comes down to how much is this going to cost to get us to where this idea wants us to go. So, bam, a number's written down. Now it's looked at and says, okay, yeah, okay, I think we could do that. I think we could do that. The number's not too highly ridiculous. So you get a lot of funding for certain companies, certain individuals, and certain space programs to actually gear up, to actually start concluding, says, hey, we're going to make this happen. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that. And the wheels are in motion and they start grinding and start turning. And it's a deadline to us. It says, hey, maybe in 5 years, we're going to be able to meet that deadline to get where we want it to go with this idea that's great, that we can actually get our launch to actually make it happen. So now, 5 years ends up coming. We get to that 5-year mark with the deadline. Everything's supposed to be calculated. The numbers, the figures are calculated to that deadline to be. Now, i.e., shit happens. We know this. Everyone knows this. Shit happens. You run into certain mishaps. Things don't certainly go away. So now, you look at it this way. Okay, well, shit happens. Well, all right. We'll be like, fuck. We didn't expect for this. We didn't expect for that. We're actually going to need some more funding in reference to this. So you go back to the kind of, not the drawing board, but you go back to the kind of the government said, hey, we're going to need some more funding for this. And the reason why, X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 K, sarah. So it's like, okay, so what are we looking at? Well, what's the number with the figure? You play another turn, we're going to need extra, boom, throw a number down. Throw that number down. The federal government looks at it and they're like, okay, cool, great. What's the time frame on it? We should have it done with it fixing out the quirks and everything within 2 years. We got this. And you're like, okay, give you another amount for this amount. 2 years, guarantee you guys are going to get this there. You're like, yeah, no problem. All right. So they continue on with the scientific research and all the greatness. And they get the stuff done. And the next thing you know, they get up to the 2-year mark. And they go to the edge of that 2-year mark. So they're at the edge of that 2-year mark. Now they're to the edge of that 2-year mark. Now they're right there. And they're like, shit. Man, we're having some problems and, we're going to need some more money. Going to need more funding. All right, so basically now 7 years is now have been transpired in this whole planned scientific development to get us to somewhere we want in space, right? So 7 years has gone by. Now you go back to the drawing board. Not the drawing board, but you go back and say, hey, we're going to need some more funding. And the government's like, God damn, dude. And whatever the number is, the government's not going to be quick to just dismiss it all because they're already invested so much. And let's throw a number out there. Let's say that, i.e., this was going to cost about $30 million. Or maybe sometime, I'm just being generous in this. So I'm just being generous throwing $30 million out there. Now let's say it's going to cost $30 million. Now the extra 2 years of money that they had asked for was like an extra $15 million. All right. So now you're on top of that. You have $30 million within that 5-year period. Then you're asking for $15 more million within that 2 year to kind of that extension of that 2 years. So what do you have now? You have a total of $45 million that's been invested in this. Now you go back and says, hey, we're going to need an extra. How much you need? Well, we had to actually draw back to kind of our original plans to kind of scrape some things to actually make certain that it is what it is. We get there, but we had to go back. We had to pay all these people. Remember, we're putting all this effort into doing this, but we need to pay certain portions of this. So you had to pay for, obviously, the people developing this, the engineering, whatever things being made, the research, the planning, tons of people that you got to dish out this out. Because people in this society ain't working for free. Especially the way that COVID's been hit in society, people damn sure ain't working for free. You gonna have to cough up some extra shit, clack dough from your ass, and you had to pay. So you pay whatever portion. Now it's like, okay, can we get this done? Yeah, it's just gonna take some more time, but we're gonna get it there. Now, bam, they continue on. Whatever the time frame is, how long it was, maybe 3 years, because in fact we had to go back. Now, I'm going to stop there. Now, if you're not seeing what I'm seeing and you're not understanding what I'm talking about, this is exactly what I'm trying to get through. If you can understand from this example that I said, is that what they've done, they've created certain types of jobs. Now, those certain types of jobs are paying high income to individuals who are specifically qualified for those positions. And they're paid a certain amount, and let's say that amount was whatever the contract was, obviously for the 5 years, then whatever contract is extended for the 2 years, and then so on and so on. So supposedly, this is not all accurate, but I'm saying, so now within a 10-year period, you have certain individuals have been paid a certain amount for a 10-year period that's gotten by on having not done jack shit. Though they have everybody on board believing that what they're doing, they are actually, doing something that's going to, but yet it's then taken about 10 years. But what I'm seeing, what I've always kind of thought is just, how is this possible? But back in the times when we went to the moon and we traveled to the moon, that those scientists and engineers and researchers did this and got us to where we wanted to be. They got us to the moon. They did their research. Yeah, they had setbacks and they had to go back to the drawing board and then they come up. But then they eventually got us there. It seems like now these days they say it, but they're pitching a good sales pitch, but then it's like they're never delivering. Yeah, they had about 2018. In 2018, they sent a rover to Mars. I thought we were on Mars anyway with the first rover that landed in, I think, was 96 or the fucking early 2000s. And then now all of a sudden they're like, oh, we want to go back. We're going to send this new improved rover that's going to, it's going to land on a flat plane. It can't land next to the one that we landed several years ago because that one don't work no more. But, it just needs to change its battery. So we're going to have this new rover go over. It's going to land on a plane, and it's going to dig. It's going to dig. Okay. Wait a minute. Hold the fuck up. It's digging. What do you mean it's digging? Oh, it's got to dig. It's going to test internal temperature of Mars. It's give us some great, scientific data. Why the fuck do we need to learn about the fucking, the fucking internal fucking temperature of Mars? That serves no fucking purpose. That what we have to understand or know about Mars. Mars is a freaking vast desert with unforeseen weather patterns and unpredictable anything that happens on that planet, because we haven't been on there physically, so we cannot tell. But yet we're going to trust as far as a rover thing, a robot that's been there, and to test the internal temperature of it just to figure out what the fuck's going on. That's completely nonsense. Doesn't make any sense. But yet they'll have you keep believing that we're going to keep doing these things and we're going to get to where we want to be. And that Mars rover was just a tiny, tiny bit where they said, we got to do something, because if not, we're going to lose a lot of money. We're going to lose a lot of funding. We're going to lose a lot of jobs, which I'm all for. Our world society have jobs and have good scientists and researchers doing stuff. But at the same time, is any of this stuff that they're doing, is it completely accurate? Is the fruition of what they're doing actually going to come true? Or is it just a sales pitch to where this whole thing is one big pyramid scheme, so to speak? But without saying it's a pyramid scheme. But it's a pyramid scheme helping only certain, individuals in the realm of getting where they want to be. I mean, if you're an engineer, if you're, rocket scientist, or you're somebody that's super duper smart, whatever. I mean, let's just say if you're super duper smart, you're one of those guys. I mean, in the land of this, you're looking pretty good because guess what? You see a job, you apply that job, you use your skills, the stuff that you acquired, and you learn how to do things, and being put in a position where like, okay, well, I can make a ton of money because they need and demand for this to do something, and you're making a lot of money. So it's only benefiting certain types of people. If you're regular old Joe Schmo, who he's not that smart, but he's not a rocket scientist, it's not benefiting because you're not part of that section, meaning you're not an engineer, then you really can't do the stuff that they're asking or demanding to do at that required job field. But you're not going to be part of the pack. But yet, if you are, you're going to make tons of money. So, are they secretly? I mean, it's a conspiracy theory. Are they secretly thrusting individuals that they want into certain areas of expertise or so-called expertise in order to, place people in a certain area? I mean, right now, the way the housing market in a lot of states and the income, a lot of things being risen, prices, housing, all the things, you can kind of see how they're doing it. I mean, beforehand time, I had said this in the previous podcast. I said before in time, they had talked a lot about, renting apartments. And it was about like 6, 7, 8 years ago. They were saying this, and it was promoted on a lot of TVs. You saw billboards. Because as a matter of fact, one of the celebrities, Jeff Goldblum, was actually featured in several commercials talking about, the apartments, because they were promoting, people living in apartments and renting. And he was on billboards and stuff. But then next thing you know, it was a push. Buy homes, buy homes, buy homes, buy homes, buy homes, buy homes. But never did it before. But they did it prevalent. So you have to believe that somewhere in the lines, they're doing certain things to get people to flow a certain way, or getting only certain individuals to do certain things, and why others are left out of the mix. Just like Girl Carter says, it's a big club. And guess what? You ain't in it. So who's in it? Don't know. But I have a huge suspicion on who's possibly in on it. And they don't even know that they're in on it. But is it a good thing? I don't know. Is it a bad thing? Don't know. So, I don't know. So I done rambled on for a little bit. So I'm going to listen to some of my own music. Yes. So I'm going to go get something to drink and be right back. Listen to some more of the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool show. You listen to me talk, ramble like a crazy person, but I'm not really crazy. I'm just talking to you, keeping it 100 with y'all. That's what I'm talking about. So, stick with us. Be right back with some more of the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool show. How about this? We're gonna listen to the Koolykool funky dope song. Okay, so stick with us. Be right back. I'm gonna get something to drink, like I always say. So here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool show. Be right back.
Come on. 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 Come on.
Yes, you're listening here live in the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool show. Yep. Like I said, this is my own mix music, I guess. Yep. Live here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool show. Be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms. Be sure to follow us on my YouTube channel, TikTok channel, both named the Koolykool show. You follow me on Twitter at Koolykool2412. Also follow me on my Instagram page at Brent the Champ. Oh yeah, come on. Give it. Oh yeah. Come on. It's my own beats. Making my own beats. Hopefully I won't get copyrighted from YouTube. Just saying. So we're talking a lot about space and a lot about people. Well, the government. Not going to say government. But things that are not what they seem. That seems to be the theme with a lot of things going on. If anybody's seen Bigfoot, please report him to your local authorities. He's about 8 feet tall, probably weighs 500 pounds, bad breath. Has an attitude, but yes, if you see Bigfoot, please report him to your local authorities. He's wanted for evading, the public for a number of years. Don't know if he's real or not, but I guess, maybe somebody might find him one day, I guess. Something, I don't know, maybe. Also, be on the lookout for any UFOs or UAVs. Apparently they have 3 foot tall, bald head, big eyed, big pot belly, no mouth, just 2 noses, aliens, and they probably take Al Bundy's socks. If you happen to see them as well, definitely call your local authorities and have them lock the hell up. Yes, and be on the lookout for, this is another one, be on the lookout for, these guys. Apparently they're the men in black. They wear black sunglasses, and they have some type of thing that make you not remember what the hell you saw. But, be on the lookout for them as well. Yep, just letting you know. The world is crazy, but it's good crazy. Don't always believe what you see or hear in the news, because they fab and blab all day. Thank you very much. Oh yeah. I say, yeah, it feels good to be back on the air. Be back on the air. Oh. So, yeah, I've lost my mind. Yes. Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm trying to figure out, as far as the asteroid that's supposed to be passing Earth, they said it's hazard potential. What is a hazard? Are they talking about some type of radiation that's coming off? Are we going to have a maximum override situation that ends up happening? You know, is that what's going to happen? Like your toaster going to start going after you while you're trying to cook some toast, and it's just going to be like just running after you instead of, you know, doing what it's supposed to do, cook some toast. You know, it's the winter time. I highly doubt anybody's going to be trying to lawnmower their yard unless they're living down south in warm weather. But, you know, is your car, the Mack truck's just going to start driving on its own? Because apparently that's what they're saying. I wouldn't be surprised from that. You might actually check your local, you know, TVs, stations, your programs, and you might end up seeing the movie Maximum Override actually on television playing because of this asteroid that's potentially hazardous, you know, for some odd way that it just has a certain field on it, whatever. Be sure to, you know, make sure that, you know, you're safe or nothing happens, because apparently, remember, it had a green glow. If you're old enough to remember that movie, and if you're young enough that you don't know that movie, watch the damn movie. It has Emilio Estevez in it. Young Emilio Estevez. He's the brother of Charlie Sheen, yes, and the son of Martin Sheen. It's a good movie. A hell of a good movie. And also, I think it's made by, I think it was made by Stephen King. And Stephen King's actually in the movie, too. And it has lots of AC/DC music in it. I mean, it's like AC/DC soundtrack all the way. I think they have all of it in there. But yeah, man, just like I said, this podcast is funny. But yes, kicking it here live on the Koolykool show. Your host, Brent. It's good to get back on there. Oh man, like I said, for the past 2 months, I have been so boggled down with a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on. It's been hard for me to actually get on the air and actually do the podcast. But I try to keep up with the Twitter kid to let people know. I try to see what's going on, flowing in there. But yeah, it's good to get back on the air and get back doing something that I like to do. Like I said, come up with my own beats. Hopefully I won't get copyrighted. YouTube's great and TikTok's good for shadow banning people. You don't even know if you get shadow banned on TikTok. They just won't show your shit. YouTube, if you're not in their algorithm, they don't really give a damn about you. So, I guess, I never floats the boat for them, ever. Guess that's how they do. Sure. Whatever. So, I guess, oh man, I'm having a fun time cracking myself up here. So, but, and we are coming to the end of this episode here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool show with your host, Brent. Yes, on this Wednesday, December 1st, 2021. Yep. Man, it's been a good show. I like to talk. Be sure to tune us, check us for our other social media platforms. Be sure to follow us on my TikTok channel, The Koolykool Show. You can follow me on my YouTube channel, The Koolykool Show. If you find a show, follow my Twitter channel at The Koolykool 2412. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram page at Brent the Champ. So, let you listen to some of my new beats that I made. This is called The Koolykool Show Chill Hop. Not hip hop, chill hop. So, you heard it here, live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show with your host, Brent. Alright, you guys take care. And be sure to tune in for some more of the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show. Bye.